Coming up on DITV, we tell you how one construction project is becoming a playground for Iowa City residents.
And later, learn how UI organizations are getting students to vote.
We have more on Noah Fant and Nick Easley's performance against Northern Iowa this past weekend.
And we have highlights from Iowa softball's fall ball opener.
An update on Hurricane Florence's impact, followed by a generous 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for weather.
All that and more coming up on this Tuesday morning edition of DITV.
Don't click away. DITV starts right now.
Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Becca Scadden.
And I'm Anthony Caligari.
The Park Ridge Bridge is now raising concerns as pedestrians have started to climb and even skateboard on the arches of the bridge. Located on Park Ridge Road and right off Dubuque Street, the bridge just opened in August and pedestrians are easily able to climb right onto the bridge as the arches slope right onto the sidewalk. Videos and photos have surfaced showing pedestrians climbing on the bridge. There's currently no water to cushion a fall, so if a climber were to land in the river, that'd be a 20-foot plus drop. Police are currently working on the best way to deal with the matter, including putting trespassers behind bars.
University of Iowa Student Government and the Graduate Professional Student Government have joined up to create the first ever voter registration week to increase the number of students involved in voting. Both organizations will be educating students on the importance of midterm elections and the impact elections can have on things such as tuition costs. They're putting emphasis on absentee ballot requests for the UI voters that are residents from other states. Voter registration will take place around town this week, including City Hall Wednesday night and the Pedestrian Mall Friday morning.
With voter registration week in full swing, the university is doing all that it can to make sure students are registered and ready to vote. With more on this is Daily Iowan print reporter Alexandra Desiree Scores in the newsroom with more. Good morning, Alexandra.
Good morning, guys. Thanks to the help of multiple student organizations, organizers are aiming to increase voter turnout from small local elections to federal elections.
And Alexandra, how exactly are these organizations banding together to help students get registered to vote?
So what UISG and GPSG have done is they band together and they've created ultimately what's called the Voter Registration Week. And Voter Registration Week will be a series of events leading up to National Voter Registration Day on September 25th. And they'll be tabling around campus, getting students registered to vote, and engaging them in the electoral process.
And so what exactly are organizers hoping to see out of this campaign?
Organizers are hoping to see that students are getting engaged and understanding who they're voting for, what their platform is, and ultimately get a better knowledge of the community around them.
And so lastly, with increased voter registration, where does that leave students to benefit?
That leaves students to be more knowledgeable in local elections all the way up to federal elections, knowing who they're voting for, understanding what they're voting for, and ultimately becoming a more active citizen in their community.
Daily Iowan reporter Alexandra Desiree Scores in the newsroom. Thank you.
A lawsuit from 2015 involving the hiring of UI President Bruce Harreld has recently been settled, agreeing that the UI will pay the plaintiff $55,000 for attorney fees. But that is not indication that the UI is guilty. The lawsuit was filed from when former UI professor Harold Hammond was overlooked for the job of president, and Bruce Harreld was hired having no higher education experience. Hammond claimed the search committee held meetings in locations inaccessible to the public and violated open meeting laws. This settlement agrees that and requires the UI President Search Committee to post meetings and notices and agendas at least 3 business days before meetings.
Well, Anthony, it is still so hot out, you would have no idea it was mid-September if you were walking around Iowa City.
You're right, Becca. Let's hope this weather kind of sticks around a little bit longer. We have Mackenzie Cooper standing by in our weather studio to tell us more. Mackenzie?
Before I get to Iowa City's forecast, we're going to talk about Hurricane Florence. As of 5 p.m. Monday, Florence was a post-tropical depression with sustained winds of 25 miles per hour, the National Weather Service said. It was located about 85 miles southwest of Morgantown, Virginia, moving northeast at 14 miles per hour. Florence was still massive as of Monday morning. Radar showed parts of the sprawling storm over 6 states, with North and South Carolina in the bullseye. Swansboro, North Carolina has received more than 30 inches of rain. Several other places have received more than 20 inches. Florence continues to produce heavy rain over parts of the mid-Atlantic. Catastrophic flooding continues over North and South Carolina, Weather Services said. At least 25 people have died in storm-related incidents, and about 500,000 homes and businesses are still without power in North and South Carolina. Let's keep those being affected by Hurricane Florence in our thoughts and hopes that this catastrophic forecast comes to a rapid end. Onto a much less disastrous temperatures, Iowa City has a serene week in store. We start off today with a high of 79 degrees and scattered thunderstorms throughout the day. We will experience about an 80% chance of rain during the day, and at night we will see a low of 67 degrees with mild rain. Now allow us to take a look at our extended forecast. Tomorrow we will see temperatures in the low 80s with sunny skies during the day and a mild mid-60s degrees at night. Thursday brings us those midweek mellows as we experience temperatures at the high 70s during the day and mid-60s at night. Friday we will see sunny skies just in time for the weekend with temperatures in the mid-80s during the day and low 70s at night. And to top off this easy breezy beautiful week, Saturday brings us into the low 80s during the day and mid-60s at night. So clearly something's got Iowa City feeling real good, and as long as the lovely weather lasts, I will too. See you all next week. Guys, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Mackenzie. Yesterday, the U.S. Constitution turned 231 years old, and to celebrate the occasion, Army ROTC cadets volunteered to read the Constitution on the Pentecost at the old Capitol building. DITV News reporter John Chenoweth has the story.
Yesterday marked the 231st birthday of our United States Constitution. In honor of the signing of the Constitution, a reading was held on the Pentecost at the old Capitol building. Army ROTC cadets volunteered to read it, and I had the opportunity to speak with 3 of them. I asked Cadet Justice Hitchcock why he volunteered for the reading. This is what he had to say.
I wanted to volunteer to read the Constitution today just because I think it's really important that people actually know what the Constitution says because it created our country and it contains all of the rights that all of the citizens of the United States have.
I then asked Cadet Caleb Kempema what he was thinking about while he read the U.S. Constitution to spectators.
When I think of the Constitution, I think of the embodying document of our government. I think of our forefathers who tried to make this Constitution so that it best represents all citizens and just kind of helps guide our country in the way that it's supposed to go.
Finally, I asked Cadet Brady Hoskins about if he had any nervousness before or during the reading of the U.S. Constitution.
I really wasn't that nervous. It's an honor to go out there and read and present one of the most important documents in the history of the United States. So it was just a pleasure to go out there and do this.
I'm John Chenoweth reporting here live at the old Capitol building for DITV News.
Nobel Peace Prize nominee M.R. Rajagopal is on UI's campus giving 3 out of his 6 scheduled lectures today. The Palliative India founder, Padma Shri Award recipient, and activist is delivering lectures to raise awareness for his organization's goals of increasing life quality for terminally ill patients in India and advocating for death with dignity. After opioid use was made illegal in India in 1985, Rajagopal's patients had been left in needless pain that he compares to torture. With his organization and university support, Rajagopal hopes to increase help for both his patients and their families. For more information, you can read Daily Iowan reporter Kate Pixley's story in today's paper.
The Iowa City Council has approved the raise in animal fees to offset service costs the shelter provides. These fees have not been updated since 1997. The new fee increase ranges from $30 to $100 and will apply to all unaltered pets, adoption fees, and treatment of animals. The Iowa City Animal Care and Adoption Center said these new fees are not a negative thing because they will fund neglect and cruelty investigation, vaccinations, and neutering, amongst other factors. The fees will ensure every animal is adoption ready.
A joint effort between the Iowa Department of Transportation and the East Central Iowa Council of Governments is bringing Iowa City and Cedar Rapids closer together with the new express bus service 380 Express. The route will run from downtown Cedar Rapids to university hospitals and clinics every 30 minutes and will include a few stops in between. The company Windstar is providing newer, nicer bus models with Wi-Fi, restrooms, and wheelchair lifts to encourage commuters to ride and relieve congestion on I-380. Bus routes don't start until October 1st, but commuters can purchase 10-day passes and monthly passes online with the Token Transit app or pay up front for $3.50. Well, Anthony, it was great to see Iowa beat UNI this weekend, but it was a bit of a boring game, honestly.
It was, and we're hoping this week with Wisconsin gets a little more exciting. Wisconsin was ranked, but they kind of went down a little bit. We're hoping we still have a good game. So let's toss it over to Natalie and Kim in the sports studio to tell us more. Guys?
Thanks, guys. That's right. It was a little bit boring, but hopefully it will get more exciting, especially a night game in Kinnick against Wisconsin. I just think it's going to be very exciting.
I'm super excited to open up the Big Ten against a huge rivalry game like this. Iowa offense finally started firing on all cylinders.
545 yards of total offense was more than enough just to beat the Panthers. But a huge chunk of those yards came from slot receiver Nick Easley and tight end Noah Fant. DITV sports director Bo Bowman has more.
First two games this season, the Iowa offense has struggled, but all that was changed in their game against UNI on Saturday.
Not only in the passing game, but also in the run game, we were looking to, just move the ball down the field and score points.
The Hawks gained 545 yards against the Panthers in a blowout 38-14 win.
I mean, we've been trying for 3 weeks to throw the ball with some success, and it looked a lot better tonight.
And quarterback Nate Stanley was finally able to get the offense going with his two favorite targets reeling in 2/3 of his 309 yards. Nick Easley and Noah Fant combined for 15 catches and 202 yards.
I think we had a really good week of practice, so I think that week of practice really just carried over into the game. We were a lot more sound, in the past game.
Yeah, certainly it's good anytime we can go out there and execute like that. More so, I'm just proud of the way we came out with energy of the team right from the get-go, and there's certainly a lot to clean up, but I felt like we did some really good things tonight.
But it's a quick turnaround for the Hawks, who welcome in Wisconsin this week to try to keep their momentum going.
Playing for a trophy, there's that added intensity, just like Iowa State.
Reporting from Kinnick Stadium, Bo Bowman, DITV Sports.
We'll have more on that Wisconsin game Bo mentioned in tomorrow's show.
In other news, the Iowa softball opened up their fall schedule this Friday when they took on Kirkwood Community College at home.
This game was the debut of new head coach Renee Gillespie, who spent the last 18 years at Central Florida.
It was a strong debut for the new head coach, who defeated her alma mater 10-6 behind 4 hits from junior Mallory Killian. Iowa will continue their fall schedule when they host Des Moines Area Community College this Friday.
That's it from us in the sports studio.
But be sure to come back tomorrow to hear from Iowa football team as they prepare for their Big Ten opener against Wisconsin this weekend.
Guys, the desk, back to you.
With Prince Harry and Meghan Markle tying the knot a few months ago, Meghan Markle has launched her first public project since joining the royal family.
Yeah, Becca, the Duchess of Sussex is helping to raise funds for those affected by the Grenfell Fire Tower fire last year. 72 people died following that deadly fire in the residential complex.
The Duchess is working with the Hub Community Kitchen to put together a book of recipes, as well as recipes used by the Royal Foundation. The Hub Community Kitchen is run by a group of women in West London. The women cook for friends, family, neighbors, and those affected by the Grenfell tragedy.
That's awesome. Good for them. Thank you for tuning into this Tuesday morning edition of DITV. Be sure to head over to daily-iowan.com for all your latest news between Monday and Friday.
And if that isn't enough of the Daily Iowan for you, be sure to check out our print edition of the news on Stands Now.
For DITV, I'm Anthony Caligiuri.
And I'm Becca Scadden. Have a great day, Iowa City, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning, same time, same place.